All right, we're back again for our next unit with poetry. So this is lesson 2. We're going to be looking at smooth sailing with figurative language. So hopefully this lesson will be smooth sailing. Some of it might be a review, but we will definitely get you caught up to speed with the different components of figurative language. All right, so these are the different, my dog is over here, pieces of figurative language we're going to cover in today's lesson. So the first, simile; secondly, metaphor; personification; analogy; onomatopoeia; idiom; and then hyperbole. All right, so make sure you're taking notes on these. You don't really need to write down the examples. There's going to be a component in here of multiple choice, and this is really going to test whether or not you watch the entire video, because if you get the multiple choice right, there's a bonus XP involved. So let's start. A simile. A simile compares two nouns by using the terms like or as. Example: the baby was like an octopus, grabbing at all the cans on the grocery store shelves. The wave tossed me like a rag doll off my boogie board. Her blonde curls felt as soft as kitten's fur. So all these examples are comparing two things using the terms like or as to describe a feeling, to describe what something looked like, to compare two things. All right, next, a metaphor. A metaphor is just as the same as a simile, except they don't use the terms like or as. So it is still comparing two nouns, but without using the terms like or as. So for example, the marshmallow is a big puffy pillow. Marshmallow is being described as a big puffy pillow without using the words like or as. The giant's steps were thunder as he ran toward Jack. So again, the giant's steps were thunder. So his steps are being called thunder as he ran. Get out of here, dog. My legs were anchors after running the 2-mile race. His legs being described as anchors. So he's saying what? That his legs were heavy as anchors. All right, moving on. Personification. So giving human qualities or powers to an animal, object, or natural force, or even an idea. The butterflies spent the afternoon frolicking in the field. So describing the butterflies as if they were real people. The tree showed bravely by withstanding the windstorm. So giving the tree the character trait of being brave would be personification. The microwave timer told me it was time to eat my TV dinner. My microwave sometimes do that when I'm really hungry, but microwaves can't talk. So then the last one, the camera lens observed the whole crime scene. Camera lens being described as if it's capturing the picture of what took place. So all those are personification. All right, now this might be something new, an analogy. A comparison of two things or ideas that illustrates a relationship between the two. So you have word analogies or idea analogies. So science is to scientist as poem is to poet. So you have the subject and then the writer or the person who is studying that subject. Tall is to short, as high as to low. Again, a comparison. Learning to walk after my accident was like learning to ride a bike for the first time. Now, while this is using the word like, and you automatically say, well, wow, that's a simile. Well, in this case, it's actually an analogy because it's comparing the relationship. It's not comparing two nouns, but it's comparing the two relationships. So make sure you don't get that confused with what a simile or a metaphor does. Well, actually, a simile because it's using the word like. Everyone being able to share ideas during a classroom discussion was like making tossed salad. Again, an analogy because I'm comparing two things, two ideas. Now, even though I'm using the word like here, it's an analogy because of the fact that I'm not comparing one noun to another noun. I'm comparing one idea to a secondary idea. All right, let's move on. Onomatopoeia, a sound word used as a sentence or in a sentence. Listen to the fire crackle in the dark. So crackle is being used to describe the fire. The bee buzzed over my head. So the word buzz is describing the sound a bee makes. The angry cat hissed at me to stop tormenting her. Yow, that hurt. All right, idiom. Now these two, the next two, we definitely need to clarify the difference between an idiom and a hyperbole. An idiom means something that is different than the word actually implies. So, for example, sometimes my mother can be as stubborn as a mule when it comes to letting me hang out with my friends. The reason why that is an idiom is because they're describing the mother's stubbornness to that of a mule. Okay? My bratty little sister sure knows how to drive me up a wall. So they don't mean literally drive you up the wall. It's, again, a figure of speech that means she's driving you crazy. She sure let the cat out of the bag about the surprise party. So again, not literally letting the cat out of the bag, but she revealed the secret. All right. Your brother's just trying to get your goat by teasing you. To get your goat means to, again, push your buttons, to get on your nerves, to bother you, to get your goat. It's the first one. I've never heard that one before, but very interesting. All right, now we're moving on to a hyperbole. Now, hyperbole is a little bit different from an idiom. Hyperbole is a figure of speech showing extreme exaggeration, like over the top, just not logical exaggeration. So I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Now, hopefully you're never that hungry, but you know, obviously that's an exaggeration. No one's gonna ever eat a horse. With all this homework, my backpack weighs a ton. Now, obviously, a ton is 2,000 pounds. While your book bag may be heavy, I doubt it weighs 2,000 pounds. That joke was so funny, I nearly died laughing. Again, not literal, but an extreme exaggeration of how funny something is. All right, so let's do a quick review. So a huge exaggeration is what? Is that a simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification? What do you think? So if you said hyperbole, you would be correct. A comparison using like or as is what? If you said simile, that would be correct. Giving human characteristics to things that are not human, right, personification. And then word or phrase that means something other than words, what it implies, right, idiom. All right, so now this is what we're going to do. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this one. A comparison of nouns without using like or as would be metaphor. A sound word would be, right, onomatopoeia. And it shows the relationship between words or ideas. Be our new one, analogy. Okay, so now obviously you don't have active votes, but this is what I want you to do, and this is how you're going to earn those bonus XP. So we're going to do a bunch of multiple choice, and within these multiple choice, I want you to write down not just the letter, the actual word. You don't have to write down the example, write the word for the answer, okay? So here's this, are you ready? Let's try some matisse. I know it's kind of corny, but all right, so here's the first one. A heavy rain flung wildly by wind that screamed and moaned. So now, is this an analogy? Is this a personification? Is it hyperbole? Or is it a metaphor? Go ahead and record your answer to that one. And this is number one. And you can always pause the video if you need to study it and figure it out. All right, number two. The porter swung my trunk down upon the dock with such a ferocious crack that I feared it would snap in two. So is this a simile? Is it an onomatopoeia? Is it hyperbole? Or is it personification? Number three, one wave tossed me like a drop of dew across the deck. Simile, personification, idiom, or onomatopoeia. All right, I think this is number four. The rain hissed, thunder boomed. Idiom, simile, analogy, or onomatopoeia. All right, the next one. Come on, Titan. Back, back, back. My dog is over here. Her sails tied up, that is reefed. Her sails tied up, that is reefed, look like sleeves of new fallen snow on lofty trees. Is that a metaphor, hyperbole, simile, or personification? All right, the next one. The Seahawk became a mere toy to the elements. Is that a metaphor, onomatopoeia, hyperbole, and personification? Now keep in mind, you can kind of do process of elimination based on the definitions of these terms, and that can help you narrow down the answer choices. All right, the next one. Moored to the dock, she rode the swell. Is that a hyperbole, simile, onomatopoeia, or personification? She rode the swell. The boat rode the swell. So that gives you a hint right there. All right, the next one. I was still in my bed. It might have been an hour when I heard the ship's bell begin to clang. All right. My task was to climb to the top of the royal yard, which was miles away. Is that a metaphor, personification, hyperbole, or idiom? All right, two more. Doing the work of a crew member would be a piece of cake for Charlotte. Hyperbole, onomatopoeia, simile, or idiom? And then what we will do is we will look at the results in class, see how many you got right, and that'll kind of tell you how good are you at identifying different types of figurative language. So that pretty much wraps up our discussion of figurative language. If you answered the questions at the end you got a certain percentage correct, and I'll reveal that later, then you will get the bonus XP. All right, until next time, take care.